Hawk Walk. Okay. This may look like boothing set up in one of our many locations on campus, or working with the student union for a all committee sort of service or boothing event. And we want to prioritize accessibility as a key point when accessing our service. So for example, we have something called the Hawk Stops. These are QR codes that are accessible to all students to scan and request a walk via very specific spots on campus that are all around campus from the scan. And then we also, for regulars or students who use the van service, we have business cards to give them. So instead of looking for a Hawk Stop around campus or calling in, we have a business card that takes them directly to our forum, as well as promoting our committee space in the student union basement as a space to run programming in. And so that students are very aware of where our service is running through our events like a recent escape room, our scavenger hunts, and much more. Okay. That is all from us. Thank you very much.
Everybody in the Waterloo boardroom just clapped for you, just so you know.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you, Riley and Suchpreet. That was a good, that was a great presentation. I believe that we have.
It's Avneet. Sajpreet is the VP who signed in on the computer.
Well, my apologies, Avneet. In any case, thank you for that presentation. I believe we have some questions for you. Yep. Okay, so are there any questions for the presentation at this moment? Director Khattab?
Got it. Thank you guys again for the presentation. That was very detailed and awesome. I just had a quick question about student feedback. So have you guys received any student feedback kind of regarding how Hawk Walk has impacted their safety or maybe connection on campus?
So within our walk forms, we have like additional comments, but as far as I'm aware, we do not have a direct way to access feedback as of now, unless a student just mentions it next time they use the service.
Thank you. Do you have a follow-up question?
Would you guys be kind of putting in like a form or a QR code somewhere for them to access to be able to give that feedback? Or is there no system yet?
As of right now, I do not believe we have a system in place, but we are more than welcome to having a system like that if that is something that more people in the community would like. We would love to have feedback for our services.
Perfect. That's all for me. Thank you.
I do just want to mention that there are feedback mechanisms throughout the website and email addresses that students do all have access to be able to provide us with feedback, as well as through social media channels. So while we haven't actively solicited what you're making reference to, there are lots of mechanisms that students can use to kind of provide that feedback. And usually Ian Muller is the one who kind of oversees most of that feedback and then kind of directs it where it needs to go. So if anything comes in, we can certainly flag that.
Thank you.
Dr. Anas?
Has there been any feedback about increasing the 1 kilometer area or radius around the campus?
We have not heard from any students about increasing our radius. I cannot be certain on when this was, but I do know in past years the walk radius was 2 kilometers. However, when it came to walking to said locations that were up past the 1 kilometer range, we found that it was insufficient in terms of timing, as our walkers would be out too long. And if we had an influx of walks, it would cause a congestion in walks, and that would leave more people waiting for the service.
Okay.
I would also add that one of the advocacy priorities that we have down on the Brantford campus is working with Brant Transit to kind of expand their availability of routes and timing of routes.
Director O'Leary?
You mentioned that the drop-off and pickup locations have to be on campus, but then you said that you can drop them off as long as they have a Brantford address.
So in our form, we specified that at least one building has to be a campus building, and the other one has to be a Brantford address. Anywhere out of that we cannot do.
Yeah. Just to add on to that, so for drop off, it can either be a campus building or a home address in Brantford, or vice versa. With pickup, it has to be a Brantford address or a campus building. We do not allow students to use the service to get from home to home, just because we have found in the past that some people will use it to, for example, go from home to for example, grocery stores. That is not what Hawkwalk is promoting. We are mainly just here to help students get from campus to home, home to campus.
And then you also mentioned, I think they were called the Hawk Stops. Where are those located around campus?
So they are in as many buildings as we can access. So in our 2 currently running residence buildings, there are one in the lobbies and one on each floor of the buildings, as well as there being one in our office, as well as 3 separate sheets that we bring with us whenever we go on walkabouts. And then for every single other campus building, there is one Hawkstop QR code available on a board that is available. So we have 2 in one market, a few in residence buildings, and the rest of our campus buildings like Carnegie, RAC, RCE, they all have one QR code available.
All right, thank you. I turned it on. I turned it on. Anyways, Vice Chair Ferguson. Do you want to?
Hey, thanks again for the presentation. Just a quick question. So, on the requests from 2024 to 2025, it was listed that you had 108 requests. This year in the fall, you said that you've projected in the current term, you've projected 70 to 80. Could you explain then the dip? Because that would mean on average, if we're receiving 80 requests in fall, we should be receiving the same, if not more, in winter. So then that would be 160. So what was the dip in terms of last year's numbers versus this year's?
I cannot speak on the exacts, as Satchpreet was the one that provides with the statistics. However, what I can say is last year, I believe from starting February, that is when we no longer had the van program in Brantford, which did cause a loss in requests last year. And that is all I can really state, as I do not know the logistics behind it exactly, but that's as much as I can say myself.
Appreciate
Okay.
it.
Just on that question, one second. On that question, why did the van program end, and why is it taking long to reinstate?
I can speak to that. I'm not going to get into the specifics of it because I'm not out to kind of publicly embarrass folks, but there was an operational concern about abusing the program. And then when accountability was asked for, it was not received in an acceptable manner. So the VP in charge of that program opted to shut down the van program as a result.
So again, just to clarify, there was a mishandling of the vans essentially, and so we had to cut it off from.
Correct.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And and why is it being reinstated now then?
New team, new opportunity.
All right, thank you. Who had a question? Dr. Ward?
So, is there anything we're doing now with the van program to ensure that there isn't misuse or abuse of our program?
For our,
Oh, sorry. No, I'll let you go first. I'll let you go first.
I was just gonna say that for our Hawk Stops, now students, before we were filling out all the information for students, this year students are doing it by themselves. So all information that they fill out, it's not gonna be under us. It's more so on them if they fill out the wrong information. Anything else you want to add?
Yes, adding on to Avni, it's really for the executives on the Hawkwalk team are going to be paying attention a lot to stuff. So like we do have our logistics execs, but the entire team will also be paying attention to logistics. So it's going to be a lot more of a team effort to make sure everything stays on track.
There are
I want
also.
to add,
Oh,
sorry.
Marianne, go first. You go first.
Sorry, I'm Marianne, the coordinator. Sorry, I'm not putting my video on because I'm feeling pretty crappy. I'm ready to walk into the ER here. So, but for our VAN program, a big thing that we're going to be putting in is accountability amongst us as team members. Communication is going to be a big part of it too. Last year, I was actually one of the execs, and I felt that there was a lack of communication between SU and coordinator, between coordinator and the team. So I've been really focusing on communication this year, open communication too, so that the whole team knows what's going on. And I'm really hoping that with all of that, the VAN program will be utilized in the way it's supposed to be. With Satchpre, I've also been working on building a really detailed rules and regulations as to what is allowed with the van and what's not allowed. So that way then everyone knows what's allowed, what's not allowed, and there's no gray areas.
Anyone else want to go before I speak? Okay, sounds good. The other thing I was going to mention too is with both the Waterloo and Brantford vans, there is a mandatory pre-check form that whoever is driving the van must complete before using it. So not only ensures accountability for the individual who will be driving it at that moment, but then also allows us to ensure that the van itself is in a good state. But yes, it is a little QR code that is attached to the keys that we have. And again, anyone who is going to drive it must complete that form before driving the vehicle.
Director Khattab?
Are there any request limits per student for when they can use the services specifically, like whether that's for the van or for Hawk Walk? How does that work?
So for requests, we have two shifts. We refer to it as a team as the early shift and the late shift. So that is 7 p.m. to 9:30 and then 9:30 to 12 a.m. We limit students to one request per shift. That's just to make it easier so people do not use the service, as in they go to somewhere and then quickly call us again to call them back, just to prevent, like, again, congestion with wait times.
So per semester, for example, a student could fill out the form multiple times, just as long as it's not within the, let's say, night shift and early shift. Is that correct?
Yeah, as long as they're keeping it to one request per shift, they're more than welcome to use the service that way. We just don't want people calling like 3 requests per shift, just in case of, again, I'm going to repeat myself again, congestion, making sure that everyone gets equal service. So it's not that people are using it more than others and using it in a way that we do not intend.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, are there any other questions? No. Okay, I do have some questions for you. What kind of training do your walkers go through? Like, do you have any training, like any certifications? What is it that qualifies them to be a Hawk Walk volunteer?
I will, if Marianne can, I'll ask her to take on that question.
Hi. So everyone who applies to be a volunteer on any committee go all through the same online training that gets done through our My Learning Space. I can't remember what all 5 of them are. Other than that, we do more just internal training. So me as a coordinator, I will kind of touch base with each student and just go over the rules and regulations of what is required of a walk. Such as like taking their first aid kit, abiding by all rules of the road. So, you know what, like you wait for the crossing sign before you cross the road. You don't, sorry, my brain's kind of blanking here. And then first aid kits, flashlights, kind of rules of regulations. And then also a little bit like if something were to happen, what are your steps? Calling SCSS or 911, depending on the situation. And then also, again, that very open, honest communication. So if anything happens on shift, you automatically let your exec know that's on shift. And then the execs have to come and let me know so that I can bring it to Satchpre. And then right now we are also looking into getting training for all of us in either a first aid or de-escalation training. We're just kind of trying to figure out the logistics of it, the pricing of it. So one of those will be coming up as well. And then for execs, depending on their role, they will get specific training with the role. So logistics will get training on how to build schedules and how to manage different volunteers depending on, you know, characters and things like that and who can go with who. And then events execs obviously get the training on how to properly apply for events, how to book rooms, how to make sure that everything is in place for an event to occur. I don't have a marketing exec, so that's just kind of we as a team as a whole. And then as volunteer liaison, Riley has gotten training on how to manage volunteers, how to manage issues that come up, what steps to take. And that's something that him and I very closely communicate about quite a bit.
Okay, thank you, Marianne. Well then, are there any other questions? Yes, Dr. Murphy?
Hey everyone. Yeah, I was just wondering in regards to events, do you have any more plans or ideas for potential events you could bring to kind of further how many people know about Hawk Walk and get a better outreach so that there are more requests and people are more familiar with the service and programs?
So I have 2 events that are currently coming up. So we have one at the end of this month that we're going to do kind of more like a relaxing event. And we hope to hold it in the SU building. That way then students know where we're at and try to generate more students to come out. And then we're also planning to do like a skating event this January. That way, the more we're out there, the more that the students will get to know who we are. And also, anytime events are happening on campus, we always kind of show our face at these events, ask people if anyone needs a walk home. And then eventually when the van program is up and running, then that will be another thing where like, hey, does anyone need a ride home? So that we really try to kind of focus on going to all these events and kind of so that people know who we are and what we do. And we always go with all of our equipment with us. So like our vest, our first aid kits, our flashlights. That way then they know that we are on duty and we're ready to take them home.
Perfect. Thank you.
Then are there any other last questions for Hawk Walk? No? No? Okay. Alrighty then. Alrighty. Sorry. All right. Thank you so much. We're happy we could have you here with us and continue the good work. And thank you, Marianne. Good luck at the ER.
Thank you. Hopefully I don't end up with a cast.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Thanks. Take care. Bye.
Alrighty. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Goodbye
And
now.
big thank you from Brantford. Hope everything is well for everyone else there today.
Thank you. Thank you. We hope to see you when we go to Brantford. Please feel free to stay in the meeting and vote with us.
You are not obligated to, though. If you would like to leave, you'll. They have busy schedules and days. If you would like to stay, you're more than welcome to. But if you would like to leave, you are also free to.
Unfortunately, I have another meeting coming up soon, so I will have to head out. And I believe Avni has a class, so we would love to stay behind and vote, but we do have some other commitments, unfortunately.
Okay, we are now reducing the budget for Hawk Walk.
Oh darn!
All right, thank you though. Have a great one.
You too.
Thank you. Thank you. Alrighty. Let's proceed to the adoption of the consent agenda. Can I have a motion that the board of directors? Wait, okay. Can I have a motion that the board of directors adopt the consent agenda as presented? Motion by Dr. Khattab, seconded by Dr. Murphy. Is there any discussion on the matter? This is where you guys discuss. No? Vice Chair Ferguson?
Sorry, worst timing. My dog just decided to come down the stairs. Can I make a counter to that and motion to adopt all except for GP2F?
I found this on the web.
Yes. So can we adopt the agenda as the consent agenda as presented, except GP2F? Until further discussion, motioned by Director Murphy, right? Yes. Okay. Seconded by Director Anas. Is there any discussion on the matter? No? Okay, then let's proceed to voting. All those opposed? All those abstaining? And all of those in favor? Okay, motion passes 0 to 10. I will request that we make an amendment to the agenda and we add GP2F for discussion. Yes? Yes. Okay, can I have a motion that the board approves the amendment to the agenda to add GP2F for discussion? Motion by Vice Chair Ferguson, seconded by Director, guys, Director Ward. Is there any discussion on the matter? No? Okay, let's proceed to voting. All those opposed, all those abstaining, and all of those in favor? Motion passes 0 to 10. I will now open up discussion on GP2F. Vice Chair Ferguson, do you have any comments?
Yeah, so just one comment. Let me pull it up. I'm working on one screen here. Okay. And it closed. Cool. There it is. Okay. So section number 8 reads, ensure that this policy applies to any group that is formed by board action. It does not apply to the committees formed under the authority of the president. That is the right one. Yeah. Okay, cool. So appliance is demonstrated when all committee members are made aware of the policy, GP2F. And it says that the evidence provided for that is that all board members have been trained on policy GP2F during board elect training. Personally, I don't remember receiving personal training on this certain policy. Even though I've read it and I understand it, but I just wanted to make sure that the other board members feel sufficient on it first.
Okay, thank you, Vice Chair Ferguson. I believe this training was supposed to be done when Ian, the DPRA Ian, conducted the board elect training on the first meeting of the board term, which was on May 5th or 5th? Early May of 2025. And I believe as well when we had our first in-person meeting on early September 9th, 8th, 2025 as well. And this was the meeting where board elects directors were made aware of some of the committees and training as well. I do have to ask if our new directors were given the same training as well.
That's more so what I was doing. That was a terribly worded question. I meant in terms of our new directors on the board, whether they have received that same training on that policy.
I think from what I remember, we went we were told the different sections, but we didn't go through each policy and explain what so I don't know if that's what you guys got, but we were like, oh, like this color means this and that one means this, and that was like the extent of yeah. Mhm.
This one, it's because she was closer to me, that's why. Okay, Director Hatab?
Yeah, I did me and Caitlin did it together, and so pretty much had the same training.
As far as I do know, the new directors were also given a training with Ian. I wasn't able to attend that meeting, but I was under the assumption that they were given sufficient training. If our new directors, on the other hand, believe that they weren't given enough training on the matter, I would like to ask if our other directors on campus here with us today were able to believe that they were given sufficient training on the matter. If not, then I do think that we can schedule another training to ensure that this policy is compliant. So, my directors, should I go one by one and ask you all, or Director Murphy?
I mean, yeah, everything is good for me. I'm feeling equipped. I mean, the modules you gave were, I don't know if they were able to access those as well, but those ones definitely helped when I did them over the break in the summer. So I'm good.
Director Rutherford?
Yeah, I feel good about it.
I just said, I'm feeling good about all the modules. I finished them in the summer when you sent them out, and yeah, I'm feeling pretty equipped as well.
Yeah, no, I'm in the same boat. The modules helped a lot, clear things up, and then just doing kind of my own preparation for the readings each week and kind of thinking about what I'm going to say or what I'm thinking about in my head. So I'm on board. I'm thinking we're in good shape.
They take after their chair, guys, when it comes to the microphone. Let's not blame my directors. So just to confirm, we believe that the training has been sufficient and you do understand the demands of this policy and believe that everything is in. Yes, you all agree to that? Okay, perfect.
I agree.
Director Khattab? No, I haven't forgotten.
We did not receive said modules.
Okay.
So if we could have access to those, that would be great. I think that would help us
Okay.
view these more sufficiently.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
I think those modules were sent out, but we will make sure that they're sent out to you guys again. Director Ward?
I felt the modules were very helpful in preparing me for the board meetings, plus all the work that you put into preparing us with the agendas and the group chat. So no, I feel like we're well equipped to handle whatever is thrown at us here.
Thank you. Director Anas?
Just to echo what he said, I think the modules were perfect. We did have more training time over the summer though, so that's something you guys don't have. But so we got to ease into the whole position. But apart from that, like the modules did help a lot.
Thank you. Director Zhao?
Yeah, I do think the modules over the summer was pretty helpful for preparing me for every meetings. Yeah.
I'm loving this, guys. Let's look at that full board engagement. Wow. Vice Chair Ferguson, do you believe that your query has been answered, or any other comments on the matter?
Yeah, honestly, no further comments. I was just making sure that the two new board of directors got or directors got the same training modules. And just to preface, I'm not going after the entire training. I'm going after what it says as the evidence for GP2F in particular. So again, that wouldn't be covered in those online modules. It's a separate entity which we received training on, but I wanted to make sure that the two directors also received training on.
Thank you. Director O'Leary?
I was just wondering how long everyone's training was. Like, was it hours of training?
Vice Chair Ferguson, you want to answer that question?
Sure. So there's two different, well, okay. So during the board meetings, there was extensive training. I don't think it lasted any more than an hour collectively. And that was through two different board meetings. We were instructed to read the board handbook. So that's just on your own leisure. It depends on reading speed. And then the modules itself, they're from an external provider. I don't remember exactly how long it took. Those definitely took the longest though.
Thank you. Yes, so we did have, just to reiterate, we did have two in-person meetings, training sessions, first in the beginning, our first meeting of the year, back in early May, and then in September as well. They lasted about 45 minutes or so, and they just went over a lot of like board policy, how to be a director, what to say, blah, 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 what you can ask, what you can't ask. etc. And then the board modules that, you know, the Vice Chair Ferguson is referring to were modules that we purchased from Catherine Rasso, who was a board specialist in the matter. I did myself. Thank you. Thank you. It was costly, but she is a board specialist. So she prepared a lot of modules on the matter. And I believe that those are the modules that yeah, perfect. You did your stuff, huh? Yeah. What can you expect from a board director, guys? Just perfection. That's all. Okay. I hope those queries are, yeah. Okay. We'll ensure that you have those modules as well. Okay. Perfect. Now, are there any other questions on the matter? Any other concerns? No? Okay then. We shall proceed to voting. Can I have a motion that the board of directors adopt the what is it? GP2 GP2F motion by Director Rutherford, seconded by Director O'Leary. Is there any discussion on the matter? No? Okay. Then the board can proceed to voting. All those opposed, all of those abstaining, and all those in favor? Motion passes 0 to 10. Gavel, guys. Gavel. Gavel. All right. Now, I believe we are heading to the approval of meeting minutes. Can I have a motion?
Your mic is off.
Like, how long has it been off?
Just they cut out after Mo.
Dr. Anas, come on, come on. Okay. Can we proceed to voting? Yes, okay. It's okay. All those opposed, all those abstaining, and all of those in favor? Motion passes 0 to 10. Thank you. We'll proceed to comments from the board, from the chair of the board and CGO. Okay. I don't really have a lot of comments. Very excited for the engagement, which has been a lot today. Thank you. I did want to sort of note that for the end of the year, the OLT is planning a board dinner. It will be a little thank you so much for all the work you've been doing. We want to do it on the last meeting of the year, which is on December 5th. It would be like a will social. The question here is that a good time for all of you? Yes. Yeah. Okay. Please keep your schedule free for that day. Most likely after our meeting, we can proceed to Wilf's for our board dinner. On the off chance that like December 5th is not a good date for you, we can decide on some other time, but we will finalize that on our next meeting on the 21st of November. Other than that, I have no other comments. So we'll proceed to comments from the president. Thank you.
Thank you, Lulia, for passing it on to me. Hi, friends. It's always a pleasure to be here talking to you guys. Let's get going. Also, I lost my voice at the football game last week. As you can tell, it's kind of recovering, but the extra tone of bass is not because I'm hitting puberty. It's because my voice is recovering. Okay, let's go through some institutional VP updates. So for the Vice President of Student Affairs, we had our committee deliberation last week on Friday, and the committee has unanimously agreed on a successful candidate, and that successful candidate will be presented to the Senate on the 27th of November. So 3 weeks from now, I believe, is the exact timing of that. The committee has also agreed that if the first candidate, for some reason, is either one, turning down the position, or two, not selected by Senate, that the other candidate is a candidate that the committee is comfortable with moving forward with as well. So happy to say that process is nearing the end. All right, now for the finance and administration vice president. The second round interviews for that position started earlier this week. Also, the students union, along with the GSA, have had the opportunity to have some more intimate discussions as part of the group consultations that those candidates have. So we have had 2 candidates this week, and we will have the last candidate as part of the second round next week. The committee deliberation for that is on November 24th. And if we are able to select a successful candidate by that day, they will also be presented at the November 27th Senate. And if the Senate approves, then we should have 2 new vice presidents for this institution by January, beginning of January. So fingers crossed, knock on wood, let's hope it all goes well. All right, on the note of some personal projects, following up on some stuff that I mentioned at the last board meeting, as you may or may not have seen or known, my office hours are finally up. There were some technical difficulties that I was experiencing due to the booking site, and ICT is really great at showing me just how simple some solutions really are and how inept I am with some tech-based things. But yes, they're finally organized and set. So I have a bi-weekly rotating schedule of my availability. So on week 1, which is next week, I have availability on the Tuesday and Wednesday. And then the following week after that, I have availability on the Monday and Thursday. Bookings are for 15-minute appointments over my lunch hour. Well, I guess it's not a lunch hour anymore because it's office hours, but 15-minute appointments over that hour that has been set out for those days, with the opportunity to extend that to a further discussion if that's what that conversation warrants. I'm obviously not restricting people to just that 15 minutes. It's just an opportunity to kickstart the conversation to see what it is that I can really do to help those students. I'm assuming that I'm going to find that a lot of those conversations are going to be me leading them in the right direction of where they can get the best assistance, rather than it being something that I can directly do for them. But what is my job if not being able to point people in the right direction and help facilitate things for people to get the assistance they need? So excited for that to be launched. And again, if any of you guys want to book in some time to have a conversation with me, feel free to use that platform itself to book in some time to talk. Speaking of some personal projects, I finally also confirmed membership for my campus advisory councils. There was just some delays on getting some membership, from some specific campus partners, as they have kind of taken a little bit longer into the beginning of the year to get settled and transitioned into the provisions that they have going on. So I finally heard back from a couple people, and the invites for that should be going out soon. And hopefully, the goal is to have the first meeting in the next 2 weeks. Let's hope that happens. But yes, happy to have heard back from those campus partners. It didn't feel right to start that project without hearing back from everyone, because I did not want to create a council where I hear from diverse voices and not intentionally include the voices that I wanted as part of that. So happy to have that happen and hoping that that goes well, and happy to relay back how that goes. In terms of what we've got going on this weekend, as some of you may or may not know, tomorrow is both the Waterloo Campus Open House and also the Yates Cup Championship. So for the open house, the Students Union will have a setup kind of in the similar area that we've always had a setup in the open house, just in the lower part of the concourse. We'll be handing out some notebooks, merch, info brochures on the health and dental plan, etc. There will also be a couple team members there who are there to convey that information and talk to prospective students and families. So I myself and the executive team are going to be the ones that are managing that. So myself, the VPs, and the AVPs would be the ones that you would see if you were to walk by that booth. Again, also tomorrow is the Yates Cup. So the Students Union will have a booth at FanFest tomorrow. So it is the activations that happen just outside of the stadium prior to and during a little bit of the game. So we are going to be managing the photo booth at FanFest. It's actually a pretty cool photo booth. The photo that gets printed is like an athlete trading card. So at the same, we have like baseball trading cards, basketball trading cards. That's what the photo booth will print out, which is pretty cool. We'll have a couple lawn games as well, and then we'll also be likely giving out some merch. And then during the game, we will also be doing an activation to give away 2 Raptors tickets. Now, here's the kicker, and where I actually need your guys' help as part of discussion. I was looking at a couple Raptors games to pick the tickets for, and I didn't know which game to pick it for. So guess what? You guys are going to help me decide where the tickets are going to go to. We are either looking at the game on the 20th of December against the Boston Celtics, or the game on the 28th of December against the Golden State Warriors. I do need your help on picking that. So I will turn it back to Lulia to facilitate that discussion, because I don't think that's a responsibility that I have. But happy to hear your thoughts. Kudos.
Thank you, Ryan, for giving me extra work. Alrighty then. This is a discussion for my directors. Do you have a preference for either Boston Celtics or the Golden State Warriors? Dr. Murphy?
Like in terms of the date, the 28th might be better because most people would be home, whereas the 20th some may have exams. So if you're looking at logistics and not the teams, maybe that would be the best call for action potentially.
Thank you. That's a nice one. Director O'Leary?
I'm just looking up the roster for each team to see if like anyone cool is on each team.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, if there's anyone cool, let me know.
Take your time. Yes, Director.
Steph Curry's on the Warriors and Jason Tatum's on the Celtics, so they're two.
Oh, on the Celtics, but not playing.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm the wrong guy to ask then.
Yeah, I don't know. The 28th game sounds a bit more exciting, in my opinion, because then it's after school. You're not stressing about it. You don't have to worry about exams if coming, or you can even take your family on the 28th if no one else. I would vote for that date.
O'Leary?
I was also gonna add for students that like live far away, if they go back home, like if they live up by Thunder Bay or something, then they can't go to the game if they go back home. Or it would be harder than if they were in Waterloo.
Yeah, if the student who wins the giveaway lives in Thunder Bay, like that's tough, I'm not gonna lie. Like, unfortunately, I can't control where the giveaway winner lives. Like I'm just gonna roll the dice and hope that this is a game that they can go to. What they do with the ticket after they win the giveaway is up to them. But I'm also hoping that people that are wanting to participate in the giveaway are people that also are then thinking about how they'll actually be able to attend the game. So I don't imagine that that's something that we need to worry about.
Vice Chair Ferguson?
Oh, I was just gonna say, as a diehard Celtics fan, I think you should do the Celtics game. Anyways,
I heard Celtics fan is a concerning statement, but we can unpack that later.
Says the Lakers.
Name 3 players.
The better franchise. Okay, the low key general consensus I'm getting is the Warriors. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if y'all are gonna be the ones to win the tickets anyways, but I just wanted to consult you guys because I myself didn't know which one to pick, but I share the same sentiments that were expressed. I think better date works better. And who doesn't like Steph Curry? Okay. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you. So it's been decided the 28th of December? Yeah, okay. Whoever wins, good luck, guys. We did a lot of deliberating.
So when the giveaway happens tomorrow during the game, I get a little note to attach of like what to be said following that, like a little blurb about the Students Union. I'll make sure to shout you guys out.
Thank you, President Joby. Do you have any other, are you done with your updates as well?
That is all.
Okay. All right. Are there any questions for President Joby at this time? Yes, Director O'Leary?
Has anyone gone to the office hours yet?
What a fantastic question. I can confirm that I currently have 5 bookings in my calendar for the office hours, which I must say I'm actually very happy with. And my hope is to continue to actively promote it because I know like just the post that goes up now will not be enough to like consistently encourage people to be part of it. So I am going to put posters up on campus soon to get that going and then hopefully have some reoccurring stuff happen on the social media so people know. But yes, as of right now, 5 people have signed up. Woo! Let's go.
Congratulations, Ryan. I do have some questions for you. So in your last update, you let us know that you were attending the comprehensive student services fee meeting, right? Right. Yes.
That is indeed correct. Yes.
Yes. Are there any updates from that?
Yes. So myself and Phil are 2 voting members on the Comprehensive Student Services Advisory Committee Council, which is abbreviated to CSAC. So if you ever hear us throw around the term CSAC, that is what we were talking about. So we had a full day retreat a couple days after I got back from General Assembly, which was like the 2 Tuesdays ago, 2. And yeah, it was successful. The committee went through the initial list of proposals that were submitted, and there are still a couple points of conversation and proposals that the committee has to go through, which has been tabled for our committee meeting, which is next week, Friday. So yeah, conversation was productive. We were able to definitely voice and advocate student needs as part of the decision making for those proposals. And I left satisfied. I don't know if Phil had a different experience. And again, a couple more of those points of conversation and proposals have been tabled to next week's meeting. Yeah.
Thank you. Last question. How about the weekly student engagement booths? I believe those have commenced.
Yes, those have commenced. So they're bi-weekly, but technically weekly because 1 week we do them on Waterloo, 1 week we do them in Brantford. So they've been going really well. Director O'Leary was actually part of the student engagement booth that was in Brantford last week as part of the what did we call it? Greeter treat, trick or greet. What was it called? Yeah, Students Union Treat and Greet. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. So Director O'Leary was there representing the board at that one. That one went really well. And then earlier this week, my team and I did one here on the Waterloo campus where we had students write down a problem or a challenge that they were experiencing on campus. And we collected a bunch of those. We had like quite a decent amount of people fill that out. I don't remember the number of papers that we had. That is something that I am slowly going through just to collect general feedback and intake on what people are experiencing. And that will be what we use to kind of guide some of those conversations moving forward. But yeah, those have been going well so far and happy to see where they continue to go. And also, on the interest of things happening consistently, one more quick update I will give as well. I think I mentioned a couple board meetings ago that we have a weekly content series that's been rolling out on Instagram. So episode 7, parts 1 and 2 have gone out both yesterday and today. They are videos with the football team in promotion of Yates Cup this Saturday. But that is also a content series that we have found to be doing really well. And we have some really cool ideas for that moving forward. But again, if you have any ideas on videos you would like to see, please feel free to let us know.
Thank you, President Joby. I actually do watch the weekly content series. Good job. Good job. I saw you trying to kick the football and it wasn't that good. How could our president? Okay. We're not happy with that result. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I think I've taken up enough of your time. Can we have comments from Phil?
Hey, thankfully, thanks to Ryan's extensive update, good about half of my things are gone. But Ryan and I, as well as our Associate Director of Hospitality, Tara Robinson, met with the Food Service Management Group and the Waterloo Leadership Council and Bricker Residents, their 2-4 Lounge, this past Wednesday to talk about food service, food support, and ultimately solicit as much feedback as we can. It's typically a meeting that we do every year. We have a follow-up usually in February or March. To kind of try to activate and help us develop an annual plan for the year coming. It's one of the more effective kind of communication channels that we have with residents where food services are concerned. And it really does help us kind of formulate a plan for the year ahead. We also met with the Seagram Committee, which is largely about replacing the former University Stadium. Ultimately, we saw this week, they walked us through some concepts and some timelines for what that building will hopefully look like, as well as extending a draft copy of the terms of reference for the agreements between the 3 parties. Still very much in the early stages. They said if everything goes according to plan, best case scenario, we have something in the fall of 2030 to be able to walk into. Which feels like a long time from now, but that time period will probably fly pretty quickly. But we want to make sure that we do it right, not quick and not cheap. So we also had visit from the Ontario Undergraduate Student Alliance this week. I know that Ryan and the USA leadership met with the president of the university as well as the VP Student Affairs. Also, the student life levy requests have been formalized and submitted to the committee. Some of you will already know that there's lots of projects and lots of money to help fund projects. So that's going to be an exciting conversation, I want to say in about 2 weeks. And last and probably most important, effective this morning, Wilfs is closed, as you may or may not have noticed. So we've had a bit of a facility issue. So we've addressed it with a third-party contractor who, if everything's going according to plan, should be working right now to help remedy some of that problem, with the very, very hopeful hope that we'll be reopened and not impacted for open house tomorrow. But there is a very real possibility that Wills will not be open tomorrow and will be open early next week. And that's about it.
Thank you, Phil. That was a very extensive update. Can you just repeat your first update, the agreements from who specifically, and the ending of fall?
Sorry, which one?
I think the one where you were talking about the fall 2030 plan.
So that's for the Seagram Stadium project. So ultimately, they don't want us to call it the Seagram Stadium project. They just don't. It's the athletic facility on Seagram Drive is what they really want, but that's a long one. So ultimately, they are going to be tearing down the existing building that is there. So the gym, the offices, the locker rooms, all that stuff, that building is disappearing. And the new building is currently being designed by architects. And then once we kind of sign off on what we want in that building, the architects will then go out and get the construction cost of that building to help build a budget. But ultimately, the timelines right now won't have a building physically able for us to walk into until the fall of 2030.
Thank you. Thank you, Phil. Is there any other questions, discussion on the matter? No? Okay, okay. Thank you so much, Phil. Is there people outside? Are they?
There are, but they're not for us, so no need to worry about it.
This room is not booked, is it?
No, we're in here till 3.
Perfect. All right. Thank you so much, Phil and President Joby, for those updates. I'll just thank you all both at the same time. We will now be proceeding to OLC updates and concerns from Director Anas, who's also co-chair of the OLC.
Hello. Hello. So I just wanted to, I guess, bring up some points that I've noticed. We've been boothing for the past week, right? And I've noticed some things that have come out of the blue. I guess the first thing I wanted to address is merchandise for specifically the board of directors. I get we have the OLC, but it is a limited budget, and we want to use the OLC budget to give back to the students, to connect with the students. However, we also need to promote the board. So one of my suggestions is we need merch that comes from the student union. It could be borrowed from the student union. I'm suggesting stickers, a specific tablecloth, and honestly, maybe a shirt for each board member, so that when we do booth, we don't have to be wearing something super formal. We're not super casual. We are kind of representing the board, because that's the entire point of the OLC, right? So I guess first question is there any possibility for getting custom merchandise for the board of directors?
Can I address that? So I'm going to address a bit of what I just heard. First and foremost, I will push back on getting a board of directors specific tablecloth, because the board of directors is not separate from the students union. So I would encourage that the board of directors, when they are boothing, if they want to use the students union tablecloth, they are more than welcome to do so. As for the other types of things that you've made mention of, absolutely, the answer is absolutely. The question is what, and what's the budget? And then once we establish what that is, you guys would have to make a motion to kind of amend some stuff, but the mechanics of which are not particularly problematic. So absolutely, that's doable. It all depends on what you want and what quantities you want and what does that look like.
Can I push back on the tablecloth here for a second?
You're muted.
Maybe I will not be pushing back. It's just that when we were boothing, we went to the SU office for a tablecloth, and most of them didn't know that we existed, the board of directors. That's one thing. But the other thing is that the other administrations of the students union did have like a tablecloth of their own, like, the clubs and administration or something. Clubs and associations, yes. So we believe that like having our own tablecloth, a customized one, would help with visibility, which is something that the board wants from its ownership, right? So the more visible we are, the better visible you guys are. I think that's where the merchandise as well comes into play. So
So I'm going to push back because I think while I understand what your perspective is, the the separate tablecloths that currently exist are for very identifiable separate provisions or arms of the organization. But because again, you guys are an all-encompassing board that quite literally is the foundation of this organization, you guys having the Students Union one makes sense. Now, the the thing then becomes of the connection that you need to build, right? But I don't think it comes from the tablecloth. I think it comes from the advocacy, right? I think the point of emphasis now should be to build that connection. If people don't associate you with the Students Union or know that you essentially are the highest ranking representatives of this organization, the onus is on you guys to be your own advocates and let people know that that's what you are and that's who you are. And I think that can be done more so through the advocacy and the merch that you get to promote outwardly rather than the tablecloth. Because the tablecloth is just one key identifier, but I think there can be more intentional advocacy by the efforts that you do to let people know that you are the representatives of that organization.
Can I suggest we maybe film some promotional videos or something on the Students Union Instagram page? That way we can get some promotion without it being costly. Like, for example, the tablecloth, maybe that could be a future thing once you're actually known as, once we're known as a body, right? Because the board of directors isn't really known. Even if we film a couple of like funny reels or have a video that's not too boring, that way there's just kind of a header image and then move further from there.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to. Yeah. But yes, so the weekly content series I mentioned for purpose like that, right? And I've said that to all constituents of this organization that is a platform that people can use to promote different things that we do. And I am more than happy to facilitate that. So there's actually a week that I will be away for most of due to it being the student advocacy conference where myself and Shayoku, who's my VP GSR, will be away lobbying to politicians. And that is a week where you can take that slot to book in and film and make that video. Does that sound like something you want to do? Because that also is like getting a bit close-ish to election times when promotion for something like the board would make the most sense.
Sorry to restate what you said. We also want, like, example, we're going to be boothing example next week. So I would have want to made a post today to talk about what we're doing next week, right? To kind of actually explain ourselves. I want as much visibility as I can for the board of directors. So along with, I don't just want to take the Instagram for, like, a set period of time. I want to just kind of, obviously there'll be guidelines, but I also want like access to it, and I want that to be a normal thing.
So I will push back on access very specifically, just in the interest of, I think I agree, right? I said that set time more so for this specific video, not just in the interest of content in general. I agree. You should have more than one post, and that can happen, right? Like if you are connected and in contact with the marketing team that we have here, especially now that we've also hired on someone new to help with graphics and videos and such, that can very much happen, and to the frequency that you want, right? Like the account doesn't necessarily need to exist with you guys for that frequency to be there. That communication with marketing just needs to exist for what it is that you want, when you want it to go out, and how often you want things to go out, right? Even if it's like we set a couple set posts right now with all base information, and you just want them to repost that on a recurring basis, like that is also something that they can do. But that communication needs to just happen with the marketing team, right? Like everything that you guys have listed for the most part is very reasonable, but like that, again, that onus has to come back to you guys on being the ones to put that effort in for that to happen, right? Like if you want people to know about you guys, like like come up with the inspiration for the post or tell marketing that you want it, or continue to boot the way you guys have been doing, right? Like we completely agree that you guys should be like a widespread known thing on campus, but like it starts with you guys to make that happen.
So what, this is, I guess, kind of a question for all of you guys. Like, how would you think would be best for us to communicate with marketing? Like, I know Ryan's like a good kind of obviously liaison between that, but if there's, I guess, more more of like an official idea, like for example, what kind of videos we'd want to create or posts we'd like to make. Like I'm thinking maybe for the week that Ryan's gone, like we can do like a takeover week or something for that. But yeah.
Let Phil go.
Nope,
quick.
nope,
No,
nope.
don't want to. Okay, never mind.
She had the question of her team.
Sorry. Yeah. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I think it would be good if we promoted our meetings and what we were talking about in them. Because if the goal is to get students involved in what we do, I mean, like before I joined this, I had no clue what this was or even what the purpose of it was. So if you even post something on like the Instagram, like, oh, this week this is like the meeting agenda, but make it what's the word? Like not so intimidating, like just like these are the decisions that are happening. If you're interested, stop in. And then I also have a couple TikTok ideas that we could make and post. So I have them all saved.
Yeah, just to address some of those points. Yeah, we were definitely struggling early on with visibility, getting our name out there. We had thought about, personally just making an Instagram page, not realizing that we go through the student union one. That was on me, but we're definitely going to get on that for awareness for the OLC too. But one problem we are also running into, no, we are running into no problems. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm just a little bit confused about what the process is for if we want to post on the Instagram. So do we reach out to marketing and send them our content and then they post it for us?
Yeah, so it can be even simpler than that. Like all I'm saying that you guys need to do is just reach out to them, because even if you don't even have to come up with the idea if you don't know it yet. Like just start with saying, hey, we want to do this. Can you help us with this? If you have ideas, you have videos saved, that's leverage. You can use that. But even if it's something as simple as you just want to do it and you don't know where to start, like they're also a team that can help with the creative process, right? So don't feel like you have to have this perfectly set out plan to get in contact with them and figure something out, because they can help you, better articulate it or figure it out how you want to do things, right? So, yeah.
Sorry. So in that case, could I request that someone from the marketing branch, I guess, appears at our next OLC meeting? Like when we set it up?
Yeah. When's your next OLC meeting?
Okay, that's the next.
Well, that is to be decided
Okay.
today.
So then, in the interest of that, find out the time, and then I will also trust and leave the onus to you guys to reach out to marketing and let that happen.
I have a one-on-one with Ashley not too long from now, like maybe within the next 25 minutes. And I'll kind of let her know to expect to see something, and that if she can prioritize her schedule to meet up with whatever your ownership linkage committee meeting is, kind of so she can shift her schedule in the event that there's a double booking there.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, we will set up I'll leave the onus to my co-chairs of the OLC meeting to set up the OLC meeting and include our two new directors as well, Director O'Leary and Director Khattab. And once that is decided, we will also reach out to you and
I do think, going back to the tablecloth discussion, I'm pretty strongly opinion on that. The tablecloth needs to be students union, but the things around the table with the tablecloth don't need to be students union. They can be a board specific, like a flag or something sitting on the table to clearly identify you that that's your function at the students union. I think that's an easy thing, but I think that the students union tablecloth needs to stay.
I guess building upon.
Yeah. Okay. If we can come, I hate you. If we can come to that agreement, then I guess we can step back from the tablecloths. It's just that, like, once we were boothing, we didn't have anything that was signifying that we were the board of directors, and so we thought the tablecloth would be like the best sort of marker, visible marker in that sense. But if we can come to that, then I will gladly step down.
We can certainly find a compromise that will help the visibility of the board for sure. Yes.
Okay.
And just to double check, I guess, all these, let's say, stickers and shirts or whatever, they will not be coming out of the OLC budget, because I want to keep the OLC budget for student outreach. That's the main thing.
So what I might suggest is let's get a better handle on what it is that you actually want, so that we actually know what dollar figure we're talking about. barring insanity, I feel like the number's not going to be overly significant, and we can figure out how to kind of manipulate our budget and make an official board motion to kind of amend the budget to be able to cover those things, because it's all that stuff should be inside the governance budget. Doesn't have to be specifically allocated to the committee that you're discussing, but the board and the governance budget should cover its own expense, and that's fine. So let's say it's $500. We'll just make a motion to amend, let's say, a line item in my budget minus 500 and add it to the governance budget plus 500, and then that way it still remains balanced. Totally achievable.
No, I am uncensored. What? Yeah, we've ran into some problems with getting things for our boots. Basically, payment method concerns. A lot of it's coming from our personal accounts. So we were wondering if we could establish an alternative payment method, so we're not using our personal funds for purchases. Options that could include an OLC purchasing card, a pre-approved vendor account, or funds loaded onto a card, or a centralized reimbursement process with faster turnaround, so we're not incurring those debts for so long, you know.
Short answer is yes. A big part of that is planning ahead so that we know that we can certainly make arrangements for you guys to be supplied as you need to be supplied.
We also have the capacity to do that purchasing ourselves if required. So then you don't incur it onto you guys. So in essence of that preparation component, if you have an event coming up and you need something ordered, you can just let us know. Like, we have our visas that we use for work and can put it in your lines. So that,
And I would actually suggest that our financial policies state that we don't want you to incur those expenses at all. So absolutely, the answer is yes.
How much notice do you need? Should we say like a week, 2 weeks? Like what?
the earlier the better, but I can do it quick if you need me to. Like, if you tell me you need it the next day, if you tell me you need it the next day, I will do everything in my power to get it to you the next day. But
It depends on what it is too, right?
Yeah.
So like some of the stuff that I know that you guys have done in the past, like not maybe necessarily this group, but like the Halloween candy thing is a really easy thing. Like we can do that as within an hour, depending on where you buy that type of stuff. So it all depends on what it is that we're talking about. So obviously if we're going to order shirts and stuff, there's a much longer lead time to that. But if it's as easy as going down to something like INS Market and purchasing something, like less than 5 minutes.
But yes, the earlier the better.
Thank you. Is there any other concerns from the LLC leadership? No? Have you been answered? Yes? Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Alrighty, now, if there's no other thing to discuss, I will proceed to announcements. Yes.
Can I actually ask a question about something very concerning that I heard right there? Who doesn't know that the board of directors exists? No. I know that some students don't, because that's like a horse in water. But you guys said specifically you came to ask for tablecloths and they didn't know who the board of directors was.
Yes, we went to the
The SU desk?
yes.
So the staff members there didn't know who you were or who the
No.
board of directors was?
Who the board of directors was.
Okay.
We were like,
Like as a concept,
It
they
is
didn't know that the
Okay.
board.
yes.
Okay.
I was like, we need tablecloths, and they're like,
It's
who are you guys? We're the board of directors, and they're like, are you guys a club? And
Okay,
and I was
that
like,
is deeply concerning and will be rectified post haste.
Thank you. I was like, no, we're part of the union, guys, and you're like, you sure? Yeah, that was very concerning on my end as well. So thank you. All right. If there's no other announcements, any other concerns to bring up, then we'll proceed to adjournment. I don't have any announcements or action items. Yes.
One thing is I want to set up a meeting right now for the OLC. We have another.
Okay, Director Annas would like to set up the OLC meeting. So can we all just give him 2 minutes to set that up?
Yes, so like the finance committee did, I guess, I would like to also set up a meeting like after Is everyone free Friday next week? Every Friday, 1 p.m. next week. For the OLC specifically.
Right?
Yeah, the 14th.
Yes. Is Friday?
Yeah, you. Yeah, you both.
What time did you say? 1:30?
Let's start 1.
I don't think Corey's free. I saw him shaking his head.
No.
Corey.
Corey, when would you be free then?
If we can push it up an hour, I just have something starting on the dot at 1:30. So if it can be even like a 30-minute shift up, depending on how long the meeting goes. So instead of starting at 1 or 1:30, if we could start at like 12:30.
12 work for everyone?
Yeah, 12 would.
Oh, wait, actually, they're canceling it next week. Okay, 12. There we go.
All right, 12 for.
Right. You.
You guys are all good with 12?
Yep.
The people on this. It could be on Zoom. It could be on Zoom. You want to make it in person?
Yeah,
Here.
make it in person. Or can you all guys come to campus?
I can try.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. We will make it, we will make it in person, and if you cannot, then we will offer an online option for you, but that is if you can.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
We will make it an in-person
There
meeting,
we
but
go.
on the off chance that you cannot come to the in-person meeting, then we will offer an online option for you. 12. Director Khattab?
Just 2 questions. How long will the meeting be? Just because usually we have something written in the meeting minute plans and then it ends up going overtime every time. And so just wondering what the ballpark timing for that is. Preferably on the dot.
Minutes and then give like 10 minutes in case it was a little bit longer, like, there's those last, because I had work later that day too, so I want to do that.
12 to 12:40 max. Okay.
12 to 12:45. Can you book this meeting, this room for us for that meeting? And yes, 12 to 45 to 1 and 12 to 45, sorry, 12 to 12:45. And invite the marketing director as well. So we can discuss some of the social media options if they're able to make it. Yeah,
Yes.
thank you. Okay. With that, let us proceed. So thank you all. With that being said, let's proceed to adjournment. Can I have a motion that the Board of Directors adjourn the meeting of November 7th, 2025? I will go with motion by Director Khattab, seconded by Director Murphy. Can we proceed? If there's no other comments on the matter, can we proceed to voting? Yes, okay. So all those opposed, all those abstaining, and all of those in favor. Motion passes 0-0 to 10. Bam!